You ever get to a point where you suddenly want to disappear from everyone? Not because you hate people, or maybe you do. Not because you're angry. You're just done. Done answering messages, done being emotionally available, done managing everybody else's energy, done feeling overstimulated all the time. A lot of us hit this point around late June. This is something I see pretty consistently after weeks of high social energy. By the time late June arrives, many of us feel emotionally saturated. Too much access, too much communication, too much emotional responsibility, just too much noise. And eventually, the nervous system starts craving silence, privacy, space, stillness, emotional safety. So, what happens? Many of us swing from overavailable to completely unavailable, from constantly accessible to emotionally disappearing. Welcome to the Primal Priestess, where we break down the basics to help you step into your most beautiful and aware self. I'm Ava, doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and I am here on this journey with you. This week carries a major energetic shift. The summer solstice marks a transition point, emotionally, energetically, seasonally. And as Cancer season begins around June 21st, the energy becomes much more emotionally sensitive and internally focused. Cancer energy naturally brings attention toward home, emotional safety, boundaries, care, protection, inner emotional needs, which means many of us suddenly become more aware of what drains us, who overwhelms us, where we feel emotionally unsafe, how exhausted we actually are. After the fast moving stimulation of Gemini season, Cancer season tends to slow everything emotionally, enough for people to finally feel themselves again. A lot of women don't realize they only set boundaries after they're already overwhelmed. That's definitely me. You wait until resentment builds, your nervous system crashes, you become emotionally exhausted. You start withdrawing from everyone because many of us were taught to tolerate discomfort for way too long before honoring ourselves. So instead of creating smaller, healthy boundaries earlier, we disappear completely later. Now let's shift the awareness here. There's a big difference between protecting your peace and emotionally abandoning your life. One is self-awareness. The other is nervous system shutdown, because isolation is not always healing. Sometimes it's exhaustion, finally forcing space that your boundaries never created. A lot of women think, I need to disappear, but really, you need less access, less emotional overextension, less pressure to constantly respond, more honesty about your capacity, more intentional boundaries before burnout. So in real life, this shows up constantly around this time of year, ignoring messages because you're emotionally overloaded, wanting to cancel everything suddenly, feeling irritated by constant notifications, feeling guilty needing alone time, craving silence after too much social interaction, wanting everyone to stop needing something from you, feeling emotionally exhausted by being too accessible for too long. That's not always selfishness. Sometimes it's a nervous system asking for protection. One of the biggest spiritual lessons of Cancer season is understanding that emotional safety matters, not just for children, not just for relationships, but for you. A lot of us know how to care for everyone else emotionally, but have no idea how to create safety for ourselves. So we become emotionally overexposed until withdrawal becomes the only relief we know. Real healing is learning how to protect your energy before emotional disappearance becomes necessary. Not shutting the world out, not becoming cold, just becoming honest about what your body can actually sustain. So this week, instead of waiting until you're emotionally exhausted to disappear, practice creating smaller forms of protection earlier. Take longer before responding. Create intentional quiet. Say no before resentment appears. Reduce unnecessary emotional access. Stop treating constant availability like proof of love. And notice how different peace feels when it's created intentionally instead of through burnout. I hope you found this helpful. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. What would you change in your life if protecting your peace no longer required disappearing completely? And until next time, stay grounded, trust your intuition, and let your awareness guide your next steps.